Hi everyone, it's Catherine. I'm recording this at nighttime, so you might see the glow from my lamp. I'm Airbnb's Global Head of Hosting, and I'm back with my 5th host update. I continue to meet so many of you in our workshops, and I continue to read your messages, and I continue to take action to make changes. Today, I want to talk about an important topic: community standards. This will be a longer update, so I want to break it into 3 parts: guest reliability, quality hosting, and new safety practices regarding COVID-19. So, what do I mean by community standards? We need to have a set of clear, balanced standards for our community to make sure that hosts are known for high-quality hospitality and guests are respectful of you and your properties. Let's start with guests. I have heard from many of you that you're concerned with guest behaviors in your listings. And while this applies to a very small percentage of our guest community, we believe that all guests must treat you, your listing, and your surrounding community with respect. So last year, we announced new guest reliability standards to try to ensure that happens. Guest reliability standards are just one policy we use to hold guests accountable, and roughly 100,000 guests' accounts have been suspended or removed over the past year. Put simply, these guests are no longer allowed to book on Airbnb. Having said this, over the last few weeks, I've personally looked into our guest standards, and I've seen that there is room for improvement. So we're going to expand our guest reliability standards. They will now include new criteria in 5 areas that you have raised: unauthorized late checkouts, disrespecting check-in time periods, unauthorized pets, excluding any service animals, tampering with or removing approved security devices, and lack of respect for your house rules. These new standards came directly from your suggestions, but I know that standards don't mean much unless we hold people accountable to them. To be more effective, we will improve our systems and processes between now and the end of the year, including ramping our systems to respond more quickly and with much greater consistency. I'll have an update in January on the progress we've made. While we're on this topic, I have heard from hosts who have concerns about guests being able to continue to book on the platform after reporting them for violating our policies. To be clear, if we remove a guest for violating our policies, there are cases where these guests' profiles are still able to be seen on the platform. In some cases, these profiles are still visible for privacy reasons, but be assured, when guests have been removed or suspended, they are unable to book. I know there's been some confusion about this. And my final point regarding guest standards: we announced earlier this year that we are doing much more to deter unauthorized parties. I hope you see that protecting you and your properties is a priority. We're expanding our standards and ramping our systems to better enforce on them, and we'll have more to share in my next update. Now, let's look at hosting standards. From the many hosts I've met recently, I've found that great hosting is about 3 things: quality, connection, and community. And all of those must sit on a foundation of trust. Without meeting guests' expectations for quality, there can be no connection. And without connection, there can be no community. You are the heart of our community. And to grow your businesses, we must try to ensure that everyone understands the value of being hosted. Every host should be aware of this. Bad guest experiences, even from a small number of hosts, can have a big impact on our community. When travelers have bad experiences with hosts on Airbnb, they are far less likely to book Airbnb again. It affects host reputation in your local communities, and it can lead to challenging regulations in your area. Now, there are many factors that go into quality, but we do have signals that tell us what good hosting looks like. It's the accuracy of your listing, your dependability as a host, your responsiveness, your star ratings, and the way you uphold our community standards. We have seen recently that a very small subset of listings simply does not live up to the expectations for quality that we must set. So just as we are removing guests to help protect the Airbnb community, we've decided to suspend or remove listings that have a consistent pattern of serious issues. We already have a process for this today, and listings have been removed in the past, including fraudulent listings or listings with a host who refused to accept our community commitment. But we're now expanding this further, including taking steps to remove listings that consistently fail to deliver minimum quality standards. Now, in most cases, hosts with listings that we are removing have already been notified. But we have built a robust appeals process to try to ensure that the process is fair for everyone. Lastly, I want to talk about some additional practices we need to implement due to COVID-19. Since June, over 1.5 million listings have enrolled in our enhanced cleaning protocol. And since then, these are our best performing listings. They have seen over 3 times more bookings than those who have not attested. We've also built more trust with local governments, which is critical right now. As you know, our North Star was a standard protocol that was both feasible for hosts and effective in helping prevent COVID-19. It was developed in consultation with world-renowned experts like Dr. Vivek Murthy. However, I've heard and read feedback from hosts who asked that we streamline and clarify the process. Based on that feedback, we're providing new resources and tools to make it more simple to learn and implement our 5-step framework. Let's look at those 5 steps. 1, preparing and ventilating the space, which is imperative to help ensure that you or your cleaners are protected before you begin. 2, cleaning every room. 3, sanitizing surfaces. 4, checking each room. And 5, resetting the space for guests. Starting October 12, we are requiring all hosts to commit to these 5 steps laid out in our enhanced cleaning protocol for their properties by November 20th, if they haven't already. We will also be requiring all guests to wear a mask and social distance upon interacting with you, and all hosts must wear a mask and social distance upon interacting with guests. For those of you that have already attested to the enhanced cleaning protocol, you'll just need to follow a quick prompt to agree to wear a mask and social distancing, as I'm sure you're already doing. Now, I know many of you never imagined having to become an expert in cleaning, and I want to acknowledge how you've adapted to the moment that we're in. Cleaning articles are by far the most popular materials in our resource center, so we're expanding the resources we provide, including a new video, an updated resource center guide, a checklist of best practices for each room that you can download, and a list of recommended cleaning supplies. Starting next week, in your app or dashboard, We'll provide a short summary of the protocol, along with a page where you can attest to the COVID-19 safety practices. Together, we're taking major steps to help protect our community from the pandemic, and you should feel very proud of that. Thank you for everything you're doing. You can find much more information on this on our resource center at airbnb.com/resources. I know we've covered a lot. Thank you for your time. I'll be back in a few weeks with some exciting new features and policies to announce. And in the meantime, you can always find me, as usual, on the Community Centre at Catherine Powell. As I hope you'll see from this update, we're listening to your feedback and putting it at the centre of everything we do. Keep writing and keep posting. And most importantly, take care of yourselves and your families. I'll see you in a few weeks.